Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for coming. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we are in an operational fire hall, so you may hear tones come over the tannoy advising the trucks that they need to go out. We don't need to worry about that. We're up here and we're quite safe, so we don't need to go anywhere. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. And indeed, we are this afternoon in the Regional Emergency Operations Centre, which is the actual room we ran the Wildfire 216 out of. People often wonder what that looks like, so this is what it looks like. So today we're here specifically to talk about preparations for the winter season, and my pleasure to hand it over to Chris, the ADC of Emergency Management, to take it from here.
Thank you very much, sir. So this is going to be part of an ongoing program that we have. So we've created a public education program that will have a variety of different themes, and working with our communications department is to have it so that we're doing these types of messages over the year on different topics. So we'll focus on different themes, and of course the main feature today is going to be winter preparedness. So where to start? Well, the first is that preparedness is an individual responsibility. So no one will prepare for you. So you need to do this yourself. There's lots of information and resources out there, and that's part of what we're doing today is to point you to some of those. rmwb, Environment Canada, Public Safety Canada, Red Cross, you just need to take a few moments and consider, what do I need to do to be prepared for adverse winter weather at home and when traveling? So some quick facts. Well, adverse winter conditions are part of life in Canada, and particularly in a place like Fort McMurray. So at times, we take this for granted. So on average, there's 23 days of below -30 that occur in this region. So we need to be prepared for that. Another quick fact, that the coldest ever wind chill equivalent measured in Fort McMurray was -62. So that's quite a bit of a ways back in 1962. So winter storms can affect communities within the RMWB in very different ways. Sometimes a storm can have a serious impact on one part and next to no effect elsewhere in the region. No part of the municipality is more vulnerable to winter storms than any other part. It can hit anywhere in the region at any time. So another quick note was about a study that was conducted by the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation in 2003 that talked about houses and how much heat they lose. With the exception of sustained extreme temperatures, if the power fails during winter, the house that you're in may take several days or weeks to actually fall below freezing. And a lot of it will depend on what type of house you're in, how much insulation is there, etc. But in general, it does not instantly fall to zero. So therefore, the need to protect water systems, valuable furniture, pets, plants, etc. can be handled over several days and not just several hours. So house temperatures may drop quickly to levels that you're not comfortable with, or may be dangerous for certain sensitive populations. But the house may actually take several days to arrive at freezing temperatures. So why do I tell you this? Well, we're all about preparedness, and there's 3 steps. Really straightforward. Know the risks, make a plan, and get a kit. That's it. If you do these 3, you are leaps and measures towards individual preparedness. So step 1, knowing the risks. Well, Canada is deadly cold. More Canadians die each year from exposure to extreme cold temperatures than from any other natural events. According to Stats Canada, for instance, an average of 108 people die annually from the cold. So winter weather is also highly unpredictable. A winter day can start nice and sunny and then quickly change as it darkens and the wind picks up. This can create a very dangerous situation if you are outside and not prepared. Suddenly, it can turn cold. Frost can build up on cold roads and sidewalks, and you can get very slippery. Or it can suddenly get warm, and you can get freezing drizzle and fog. Winter weather is highly unpredictable, as anyone who came in today notices by just taking a look outside. So you also have to be concerned about two conditions that are particularly grave that occur during this season, and that's exposure to winter temperatures can have very bad medical consequences for people. They are hypothermia, which is when your body loses heat faster than it can be produced, and frostbite. This is when your body tissues start to freeze, and it can be a very serious condition that everyone needs to take precautions to prevent. Infants and older people are particularly at risk, mainly because infants lose heat more easily than adults do, and older adults often make less body heat because of a slower metabolism. However, everyone can be at risk if they remain outdoors for long periods, especially longer than they had actually planned for, and are not prepared for the cold. Some of the types of risks in this season would be things like blizzards, snowfalls, cold snaps, and ice storms. So a blizzard comes in a wave of cold Arctic air. It can be bitter cold with high winds and low visibility due to blowing snow. It can last several hours or several days, don't know. It may also include things like wind chill warnings or snowfall warnings that will be issued if there's a certain amount of snow expected, normally around 24 centimeters. Cold warnings may be issued if the temperature is going to go suddenly cold, and normally they indicate what the temperature will be, minus 40 to minus 45, as an example. Ice storms as well can be are when rain suddenly freezes and becomes ice. The ice then can create hazardous travel conditions, and ice can build up on things like branches or power lines that may break and fall. So before you travel anywhere, you should check the weather, where you are, along the route you are going to take, and at your destination. And to look at that kind of weather along the route, you can go to the Weather Channel as an app, or on the 511 system, on the transportation system, to take a look. So I'll take a moment for ice, because ice is a reality in this region. So experts from the RMWB monitor the ice roads in the region regularly throughout the season to ensure the safety of all who travel it. Experts will use various tools to core the ice and measure its thickness, and many other techniques are also used to help maintain its strength and stability. However, most other natural ice surfaces are not monitored in any way or maintained for regular use, so you need to use caution. You cannot tell by looking at ice how thick it is. You should use even more caution at the beginning and end of the winter season when freezing is just starting to occur or the thaw begins. And we'll be looking at ice again as we get closer to river breakup season. If the ice has open water, visible cracks, objects protruding through it, it is a smart thing to simply stay off it if at all possible. So, step number 2, make a plan. Winter has been here for some time already, so everyone's kind of adapting already, as they do every year. So at this point, we're just reminding everyone out there to just take a moment to consider what they would do if something happens and they get stuck in their home with no power or on the side of the road. Making a plan can be as simple as checking what the weather conditions will be, making sure your vehicle is in good condition for winter driving, and when traveling, letting someone know your route and how long you expect to be. Make sure you give yourself extra time to do things, as conditions can slow you down and rushing often causes bad habits. If you can avoid travel in bad weather altogether, that's even more preferable. You should make sure you keep in regular contact with your family or friends if the power goes out, and if you normally need a great deal of assistance. You should also consider writing down important telephone numbers and keeping them physically in your vehicle, on your person, in your home, because that battery in the cell phone seems to die at exactly the moment you need it. If you really want to be prepared, you should write down your plan and test it out and make sure that everyone in the household knows what to do. So, step number 3, get a kit. What is in the kit is less important than the fact you have one. Even by putting the bare minimum of these items together in one easily accessible place can greatly aid when you actually need them. For a vehicle, it is important to have at the very least a blanket, first aid kit, and enough water. And I'm not saying just stop there. Go beyond that. But just so you're aware, the more you take with you or put in your kit, the better, because you will not get a chance to simply go and grab it once something happens. At home, at least you can rummage around to try and find it. You can buy commercially available kits or just simply put together one yourself, and the cost can depend on your budget. With a kit, what you actually put in is your choice. So I have some examples behind me that have been set up for both a vehicle kit and for a home kit. And so for those that are here, you're welcome to take a look through, and my information and public engagement and training officer, Robin, would be more than happy to chat with you about those kits. And we just took these and put these together from kits that we have in our vehicles, etc. There's no way that we can cover all the ways to be safe this winter. So make sure you take the time to look at all the resources out there and make yourself more knowledgeable on emergency preparedness for the winter. Most of these resources are free and available online. They're all over the place. And I mentioned some before. If you go to the rmwb site, we have a few as well up top with Public Safety Canada and 72-hour preparedness. There's, if you want to, you can go to the Ministry of Transport or the Red Cross. Lots and lots of information out there. Just a matter of looking for it. So part of why we are doing these campaigns as well is to get the message out there so that everyone in our community will take at least a small opportunity to do what they can for themselves and basically become more individually resilient. After all, prevention is better than recovery. So remember, 3 steps. Know the risks, make a plan, and get a kit. Thank you.